Good morning, this is Tom, Negotiating with Jesus. I don't know if I scratch my ear every time I get on. That's my signature, that's my branding. The ear scratch or that. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my routine. This morning as I did all my normal routine, I was tuned into the premiere of Chad and Sevilla. Now I followed Sevilla way back in the day when she was doing her Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance discussion. And my brother had given me that book, gifted it to me years and years ago. And I don't know if I still have the book, but I had never read it. And I like books. Long before there were audiobooks, I had to read paper books. And I talked to people about books. And because I became an audiobook listener and it allowed me to plow through books while cutting grass or driving my car or taking a shower or whatever, I could have a book playing. And one of the best books, one of the longest books was Les Mis, which was just fantastic with these side kind of rabbit trails where the author goes for a chapter talking about the sewer system of Paris or something like that. So, Lord of the Rings, probably one of the greatest audiobooks because the guy sings all the dwarf and elf songs and hobbit songs. And you have, I think there are two authors that are both loved who do a great job with the character voices and then singing songs. So if you've read the book and you come to an elf song or dwarf song and you don't sing, if you just read the poetry, the singing is remarkable when the words become a song, when the poem becomes a song. And then in the voice of a dwarf, that raspy, rough voice of someone who may sing to you or may throw an axe in your back. That's just just comes to life and it's just awesome. Better than the movies. I think the book is just fantastic. So I've listened to the audiobook at least twice now. Plus read the book back in the day. But anyway, was watching, so my routine includes watching all these videos of this corner that is becoming a living or a digitally alive thing, whatever the internet and the network connections. So I was going to tell you a little bit about my routine, and one of the things that I wanted to say was about music. So I'm going to tell you my routine, tell you a little bit about music, tell you that I'm going to, in this part of my life, I intend to give music some kind of central role, and I don't know if anyone will agree with me, but I'm going to try and force it on you. And you can, do your 2-second view and just move on. You rascal. So for several years now, since I began preaching, which is about 6 years ago, became a pastoral type figure because of circumstances. I started getting up early to rehearse my message, and I would go to the church at 4 a.m. and preach my sermon to an empty church. And I found it to be a wonderful practice to practice your sermon. And Paul doing his rough draft I think that's a great idea. So I'll try and incorporate that more into my life. But for many years now, 6 years, I began getting up early to read the scriptures and say words about them. So this thinky-talky corner activity is reading words or hearing words and then saying your own words about them. It's this entering in, getting some kind of nourishment, and then casting seeds out. And Vervaeke probably has some way of explaining it, or Paul, or whoever. Jonathan. So my routine, I get up early. That means I go to bed early. 8:30, 9:30. Last night was well after 9, which, may be early to some, but then I woke up at 3:45 and got up. So I was up before 4. Then I make coffee. I like coffee. And I'll tell people that I don't think it tastes that great. But you develop a taste for it. But really, it's some kind of drug that we kind of agree is life-giving. It perks you up. You perk it, it perks you. So there's probably something symbolic to that. So, get up, do my morning routines, drinking coffee. Now, one of the first tasks that I do is this Wim Hof breathing thing. My sister told me about that years ago. So this is the past 3-ish years. So it had been for several years that I got up and read and preached and practiced a message. Then I started incorporating these exercises. So this breathing method, and I don't know if it's maybe a chance to meditate or a chance to calm down or a chance to breathe and really think about focused breathing or whatever it is. My sister was doing it, and I said, yeah, I'll do that. Who cares? So you turn on the guided breathing exercise from Wim Hof, and so you just take these deep breaths for 30 breaths, and then you breathe out and hold for a minute or a minute and a half. Hold your breath. And then after the minute and a half, you breathe in and hold that for 15 seconds. So it's just some little practice. And in the course of this breathing, you're to relax. You're to feel. And relax, feel. There's one more thing you're supposed to do. And I can't think of what it is, but it was interesting because I would kind of feel my pulse and my heartbeat. So relax, feel. And there's one more thing, and I can't think of what else you do. Slow down. You're just supposed to slow. So it's supposed to be that, one of these Zenish or Eastern religion things where you can control your body, and maybe you can raise or lower your temperature, or maybe you can slow your pulse down or whatever. And I don't really care about that much. I just do this thing because I try things. I don't care. I'm not getting any Buddhister at all. I'm a Jesus guy, church guy. So this is some kind of exercise in which I breathe and relax and have time to feel, slow down. That became incorporated into my life. Then I do some calisthenic exercises. So and because I don't want to overwhelm myself and end up quitting, I've added small things. Now I'm having some shoulder pain, so I've stopped my push-ups. See if my pain will be reduced, and I'm getting old and just have pains. So I do my sit-ups, my push-ups, some kind of calisthenics. So I do that for a little bit. Then I do my prayer time. So I do the Lord's Prayer. I do it in Spanish, and I repeat it several times. And just you're praying for the world, you're praying for your own needs, you're praying for the needs of those around you. And in some way, you're just surrendering to God's will. And maybe it's AA-ish, maybe it's Buddha-ish, but it's Jesus saying when the disciples say, teach us to pray, he says, pray like this. So there you go. It's a pretty easy prayer. I decided to learn it in Spanish because I would love to speak Spanish, but I know my own discipline problems, so I decided to make a small goal. So I can speak, I can preach, I can say the Lord's Prayer, the Padre Nuestro, in Spanish. It's part of my routine, been for years. Then I do my guitar exercises. So I only did one music video so far, and I just wanted people to learn. I was going to look up how many songs you can play with G, C, and D chords. And if you look it up, because you can do your own research, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of songs that if you know 3 chords and can start to play them with some proficiency, because you do have to practice, and if you try and do it in some steady rhythm, you can play slowly some song. You actually can play songs with 3 chords. And the truth, as Duff would say. So music, the next thing that I do after my prayer is music. So I started doing exercises. But what I wanted to do was I have some songs that I had written, and I decided that if I'm going to do music in my life, I'm going to try and do songs that I wrote. For better or worse, they are me in some way. They're me expressing something. So I decided I would try and get a set together. I have 8 songs that I play every day for years now because I wanted to get to another level with my guitar playing. So I started memorizing my songs so that I could do an 8-song set by memory pretty proficiently. So you have to practice. And I can play chords, but I try to. So I'm singing songs that I wrote. And it is what it is. Who cares? So that's one of the goals. Then I started thinking, what can I do to learn my instrument better? And I started looking at, thinking about writing more songs. So I started looking at the circle of fifths, and that's just a device that shows the connectedness and the ways chords fit together. In almost all songs, there's a typical method you can use to put together a song with chords that work. So the circle of fifths was a thing. Then I decided to get to know my fretboard better. And I have heard about the caged system, C-A-G-E-D, caged. And that is a system that I will show and tell you that I'm trying to practice that. So practice. One of the things that one of the videos I saw on guitar said this. It said people practice songs, but they don't necessarily practice their guitar. So if you're doing exercises, so I do some exercises to get better, know my instrument better. So an athlete, you get this muscle memory. An athlete, an artist, they start to be able to play at a higher level just because their body starts responding to all the things that you've incorporated in your practice. Then when you play, your game is better. So I'm practicing these chord patterns, and the cage system is pretty simple. And if you practice it, you get to understand kind of the structure of the fretboard. So if you learn the 3 chords that I said, the C, G, and D, the cage system, you would have to learn an E and an A. An E is a very easy open chord, an A at the end of the neck, which just means chord at the end of the neck. And an A, very simple chord. The A and the E are the chords that are typically moved around on the keyboard. The E minor, so related to the E major is the E minor. Related to the A major is the A minor. And you'll find the whole keyboard. You can play these chords up and down the fretboard, not keyboard, fretboard. And it's helpful to know this. So the cage system is taking a C and then finding the shapes that the C chord can be played using different shapes moving up the fretboard. So it's a C at the end, it's an A moving up three frets, and then it's a G shape plays a C chord up 5 frets, and an E up about 7 frets, and then a D up around 12 frets or whatever. I'm probably estimating wrong on that, but there it is. I'll go over that sometime because I'm going to try and incorporate practices besides just thinking and talking. So that's my morning routine. We're 16 minutes in. I have to get my daughter going. She has to go to school. I have to go to work. I'm on a hot job. It's a big propeller. So I work at a pattern shop, which means we make a pattern by which an impression will be made using the pattern, an impression in either wax or sand. Pattern shops work for foundries. An impression is made, and then through one process or another, molten metal is poured into the impression so that a cast part is made. So I work in the field that makes pumps and propellers and impellers and a variety of products. So the manufacturing business, and it's a small business here in Pennsylvania that is fantastic. And whether the guys love it or not, they're part of this strange, wonderful story of the world where people come together, they do their best to work together, and they do their best to bring glory to life. And often failing, but keep on trying. So this video was to be part of a new routine that I'm putting into my life, and I will try and improve over the course of weeks, months, years into a thing that may bring glory to the world or not, but I'll keep trying. So that's it for today. I am going to try and do additional videos, but this is my morning video. I'll get back to Tom out.